When I started work, it was after the economics crisis in 2008. So I started work in 2010. I didn't find the work I liked, so I was very ashamed. Like I felt like a real failure. And I went to see this doctor, like a general doctor. I went there and I told her, oh, everybody's moving, they're having great careers, and then I'm working in the back office of this bank. I don't like it. And then she said, but mademoiselle, you are not your job. I nearly collapsed. You are not your job. There is what you do and who you are. Oh my God, how come I did not know this? So can you imagine? Something so simple I did not know. Oh my God. Yeah.
Put a picture of this guy in your house now.
Yeah. It's a lady. Yeah, I should put her picture. Can you imagine? She just told me, Mademoiselle, vous n'êtes pas votre travail, you're not your job. There's what you do and who you are. You
Just
could have thought. Yeah. Wow. And
right.
your worth doesn't depend on your job. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my God. Can you imagine?
yeah,
Big truths like that. It
yeah,
seems so simple,
yes,
but when you're not constructed like that, even the basics like this, you don't know.
yeah, yeah.
How was the transition for you from school to work?
It was it was very hard actually because I also had a very clear idea of the career I wanted to have,
Mm-hmm.
but life decided differently because I failed my very final exam in my legal career,
Mm-hmm.
which meant I could not continue, and pursue the job in the firm that I was supposed to work in.
Mm-hmm.
So my world collapsed. That
Yeah.
it really did, and I ended up unemployed, and then I had to build myself again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I left my hometown and I started trying to rebuild myself. But I was really acting from a place of fear. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, in my mind, all I had to do was to find work immediately
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I just couldn't bear the idea of being unemployed because to
Yeah.
me it meant failure.
Yeah. And society tells everyone around you, make you feel that's what it is, right? Yeah.
So I felt that I had to repair that image as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started working very hard without ever addressing the emotional pain I had just been through.
Mm-hmm.
I just got back on my feet thinking that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ignore this. And well, like I said, it just there was a moment where I wasn't able to suppress it anymore,
Yeah.
and it all came out a few years later
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
when I had to stop because I was medically no longer able to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And only
Yeah.
then, because I had no other choice, I had to accept to stop and to start being kinder to myself. And that's when I started to do all the inner
The
work,
work. Yeah.
to understand what my needs were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even knowing yourself, I didn't know myself. I just followed, oh, these people are doing this. Oh, this looks good. Let me do this too. But I didn't know what I wanted,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I was not connected, as you said before, I was not connected to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had an intuition, but I wouldn't listen to it. My intuition would tell me something, I would brush it aside, because other people were more important than me. So why listen to my intuition? It's crazy kind of when you think of it, you know. And now today I listen to my intuition more. And I would also say that in my journey, writing has helped me a lot.
Mm.
Writing has really, really helped me. Journaling, you
Yeah.
know, I wrote the first draft of my memoir in 2010, and for 7 years I couldn't reread the story. It was too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 years ago I moved to Canada and I started reworking on it. it was very painful, but it's getting easier and easier because I'm restructuring the text. And from that work, I'm discovering so much on myself,
Yeah.
making links that I couldn't make before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like it helps me understand my triggers, observe myself, and see when I'm dysregulated, I'm frightened, I'm anxious. I can really see it. Sometimes I'll say, okay, I will go for a walk for 2 hours, Before I would just know that I'm not fine, but I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
With all of this work, you notice your emotional states. And before I did not even know what an emotional state was,
Yeah.
how I was feeling. I did not even know, you know, I did not know.
Yeah.
And so that's how I came to this work. For me, it's become a passion because I think there are so many people out there who have all sorts of trauma from childhood, emotional neglect, um, physical neglect, abuse, all of this, and it makes you can run from it for a while, but you cannot run from it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And those who don't address it, you can see people they're doing so well, they have this flying career, and they reach, and then they get to 40, they start drinking and they mess it all up.
Yeah.
It's from childhood trauma.
Yeah.
You sabotage everything you built because that emotional wound, if you don't address it, it will come and spoil everything at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
because I mean, I do believe, and I see from people around me that they have not, most of the people have not understood that they are not their job, like you just said,
yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's
So,
crazy, yeah. Who are you without your job?
yeah.
Who are you without your job? If you can answer that question peacefully,
Mm.
you know, and you can stand in society and say, I don't do anything, and you don't feel bad, you don't, whatever people think is their business, then you're good. If you're not there, try to like do some soul searching, Um, these things they follow us. I sometimes go to this. There's a 12-step program. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's for people who grew up in alcoholic families and dysfunctional families. It's called ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families. Because of the pandemic, they have meetings online. So if you go on their website, aca.org something, you can find meetings all
Mm.
over the world in your time zone. It's a Zoom, there are Zoom meetings. You can, when you click and join, you hear people talking about how the consequences of their childhood trauma. You see people who are 60 years old, 70 years old, they're still crying about their trauma.
Mm-hmm.
A dad shared that he told himself he will never be like his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw himself screaming at his daughter with the exact same words his mother used to scream at him. So he knew he had to do some work. So for me, if you don't process that trauma, it doesn't only impact you, it impacts everybody around you,
Yeah.
your partner, your kids, everybody.
Yeah.
They say the time heals all pains. No, trauma doesn't go away
Mm-hmm.
because trauma keeps you stuck in somewhere in time. That pain, it's still as if it was now, even if it happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago. If you don't walk through it, you have to face it, go through it, have breakdowns, but do the work and come out on the other side.
And how do you do the work? This is the interesting part, because so me, what I do with my clients is that I take them through hypnosis, and I use this rapid transformational therapy
Mm-hmm.
to guide them and take them back to the event and to the
Yeah.
difficult experience, so they can revisit that event and change the meaning that the event had.
Yeah.
What do you use to?
That's I love that approach. It's a fantastic approach. I work more with core beliefs, how to change core beliefs, mostly through journaling and mostly to make someone aware of where the problem lies,
Mhm.
because I think awareness is the first step. So mostly like unlocking people's brain to see that it's a cycle, and you have to break it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, And then I would say it depends on the cases, right? Some people will need therapy, and some people, yeah, will need coaching. That's where I come in. When you change the way you react, you function, it changes it changes the way people react to you. You know, the way your kids react to you, your partner. It changes everything around you. So if I can help someone make that shift, it will make me really happy. And we are so many people don't express anything because they feel shame. I was ashamed too.
Yeah.
Until the end of last year, where I'm like, well, these things happen to me. It's not what is wrong with me, it's what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with me, but things happen to me.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that it's not something wrong with you. Something happened to you or did not happen to you in the case of neglect. And these are the consequences. So what do we do today to make you turn your life around and live, a fulfilling life? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because there are tools out there. There are many things you can do. Many things, even through journaling, working on self-esteem. There are so many things. Even the partners we choose, our trauma state makes us choose this partner or that partner.
Yeah.
There's something called trauma bonding,
Yeah.
where you bond with someone, but it's your trauma you're bonding with.
Yeah.
So it could still be your real partner, but when you realize these things, then you shift things to make it a more fulfilling relationship. Yeah.
It's just about having the courage to um, connect with your emotions and,
Yeah. Yeah.
welcome them rather
Yeah.
rather than suppress them. When you
Yeah.
start doing this work, you can really discover something quite magical.
Yeah. And
You get such a precise understanding of who you are.
yeah. Yeah. And you uncover layers and layers and layers. It shifted my relationships in my family,
Mm.
And for the better.
Yeah.
For the better. And but it takes courage. It takes courage. Sometimes you don't know what's going on, but you keep working at it, and then all of a sudden you understand, and all the things that made you feel a bit stuck or so, you see them going away with the work. So, and then you find yourself just free. And in this pandemic, in these times, we need emotional resilience, and
Mm.
this is building it.
Yeah.
On doing those shaky foundations that and putting something solid in place, makes us emotionally resilient. And in this new world we are getting into, because this post-pandemic world will be a different world from what we knew before.
Yeah.
Things will not go exactly back to normal as we know. We need emotionally resilient adults and children. So
Mm.
yeah.
Well, and it's a great time to do the inner work.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Yeah,
Well,
I
Miriam,
remember many years back we had no idea about these notions. I'm just so happy they found us.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
quite
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time
Thank you. It was
and for
amazing.
sharing.
Yeah. Thank you too for sharing. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
that again.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care. See you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.